Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we are going to once again be looking back to the early pre-release Halo 3 Delta build from March of 2007. But instead of taking a look at some early versions of bipeds and characters, we're going to be taking a look at some early prototype versions of the Halo 3 Pelican. Alright, so let's start off by using the built-in cheat menu to spawn the default variant of the Pelican in this version of Halo 3. As you can see, its textures aren't very detailed. In fact, this Pelican almost looks like some LOD Pelican, where the same single texture is used all over the Pelican. There aren't even actually any real windows on this Pelican. The rear part of the interior looks more or less complete, but obviously doesn't have any unique textures yet. There's also no cockpit in this version either. It's just nothingness, where the cockpit would be. So, this was just the default variant. There are multiple other variants that we will now proceed to spawn in and take a look at. Aside from the default variant, there are 5 other variants of the Pelican. So this first variant is called the attack variant, and the main difference with this is that it has these missile pod launchers on the sides. I believe these are the Halo 2 versions though, just left over. There's also placeholder Da Vinci Code error textures for the UNSC decals on the side and in the rear of the Pelican. There's also the Halo 2 Pelican turret that's left over and probably not functional either. Inside the cockpit here, it does seem to be pretty close to the final Halo 3 version, just not as detailed yet. But also inside this cockpit, we also have a few of these screens that are actually functional and have a texture camera that's linked to wherever you're looking at. You can see that it displays everything you look at, almost like a hand drawing. It's kind of similar to how the sniper scope works, but visually different. There's 3 of those screens too inside this cockpit, and they do look pretty cool. There's also one in the middle of the Pelican too. They all display the exact same thing. This next Pelican is called the Unarmed variant, and it's pretty much the same as the attack variant, except for the fact that, well, it doesn't have any of the weapons. It also doesn't seem to have any of the placeholder decals on the side either. But the rest of it, including the cockpit and all those weird texture camera screens, are the exact same. Moving right along. This next variant is called the Prop Pelican, and this one is probably the one that's closer or meant to be an LOD model, hence the name. It's missing its landing gear, the windows are all fake, and it doesn't have any kind of interior at all. It's just nothing inside, quite literally. And, of course, barely anything on the outside as well. This next Pelican is called the Cinematic Pelican, and it's actually somewhat closer to the final release version of the Halo 3 Pelican. There's actual glass on this Pelican now, but that's really the only difference as far as I can tell. It's not an attack Pelican either, and I believe the rest of the interior is pretty much the same as the other variants that do have interiors. The last version of the Pelican that exists in this early build of Halo 3 is the cinematic no-glass version, and as the name would imply, it pretty much is just the cinematic version of the Pelican with no glass. Might have just been a test version of the Pelican used early in development, or it may have been some kind of convertible Pelican so the pilots could experience a breeze while flying. The world may never know. But yeah, so those are pretty much all the early prototype versions of Halo 3 Pelicans in this early pre-beta Delta build. Despite being around 6 months before launch, they still looked pretty rough and a lot of changes have been made from this point to launch. Anyways, hopefully y'all found this video to be interesting. And, as always, if you did enjoy it, then make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, Anything else you want me to check out in this build, or the next character or vehicle you want to take a look at, just let me know down below. Aside from that, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!